It's the most powerful show on television. High drama with intense energy. A show dedicated to a few brave souls who risk their lives for the sake of their craft. Its in-depth reporting goes to the core and unlocks the mysteries behind today's raciest sport. Motorsports. Catch it when you can.
The Speed Station welcomes you to Talladega Superspeedway for the running of the GEICO 250. In the race analysis, today's event at Talladega Superspeedway takes place over the course of 94 laps, that being 250 miles. Stage 1 ends on lap number 20, and Stage 2 ends on lap 40. In your regular season point standings, entering today's event at Talladega Superspeedway, Grant Enfinger holds the point lead by 9 points above Dawson Cram, who has been having a fantastic season so far. Ryan Truex currently sets 17 points out of the point lead. Ty Gibbs 22 points out. Casey Mears 23 points out. Parker Kligerman 24. Ty Majeski 25. Timothy Peters 27, as well as Tanner Gray. And Sheldon Creed 29 points out of the top spot in the point standings. Rounds out your top 10. The driver who tested NASCAR's spec next-gen test car at the Talladega Superspeedway was actually sixth-place runner in Cup Series points, Austin Dillon. And the feedback that NASCAR received was rather positive in comparison to the test that they had with Tyler Reddick at Daytona International Speedway, as they were able to get the car into the final gear, which is fifth gear on this race car. And tests seemed to be rather conclusive that this car should be able to put on relatively good shows. While they are still working on aero package differences, the general consensus is that we will be running the same exact package that we are running right now on next year's next-gen Cup car. Hello everyone, welcome back to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series ride-along segment. We're getting ready for the GEICO 250 Camping World Truck Series race. Back in the ride-along truck as we peel off pit road. And we're going to ride the apron all the way through turns 1 and 2, getting this truck up to speed. And this is how you'd have to run it if you were coming off pit road during a racing condition. You have to run right below this yellow line so you do not get a penalty for merging too early. They moved the merge line down to here after Kevin LePage's accident here in 2008. That was back when you could merge right in the entry to turn number 1. NASCAR realized that was a little bit unsafe, to say the least, because that led to a big old accident, so they moved the merge line down to the back straightaway. Now the trucks have a little bit less horsepower than the Cup Series cars because of the Ilmor NT1 engine. So a lot of the passing that you're going to be seeing today will be done right on the bottom line. However, a lot of trucks will be running up by the wall to try and conserve their equipment. Just trying to stay out of trouble, more or less, and keeping their truck fresh for the end of the race. So anyway, imagine that's a green flag for a qualifying lap or something like it. You can more or less run anywhere on this racetrack. It's a very fresh surface. 2006 was when it was redone. And just like the situation at Daytona, you can in fact legally pass underneath this yellow line. However, it is not very well recommended because the way the apron and the banking differs, it will upset your truck, and a lot of trucks will be running somewhere around the middle to top lane, so you might just end up getting freight trained. But you can make quite a bit of time up on the bottom. You can keep your truck down there. However, as the tires wear out and the race progresses, expect the lane to drift up just a little bit as those tires degrade. And teams get more mindful of how far they want to make it in the race. You know, don't start making aggressive moves when you can sit behind another truck for 20 laps and get close to the finish. Anyway, that's a lap around Talladega Superspeedway in a Camping World truck. NASCAR Cup Series rookie Justin Haley scores the pole here at Talladega Superspeedway by about 1/10 of a second above Chandler Smith in the number 46 truck. Matt Crafton, last week's winner at Dover, qualifies in third. Cody Rawbaugh with a great qualifying run in fourth. Scott Lagasse Jr. as well with a good one in fifth. Dawson Cram, who enters this race second in points, qualifies in 6th. David Reagan, coming back to the Truck Series, qualifies 7th. Joe Nemechek with a great run, qualifying in 8th, matching his truck number. Drew Dollar qualifies in 9th, and Christian Eckes rounds out your top 10. Also, don't forget about Trevor Bain qualifying in 11th, and Casey Mears, your winner at Daytona, qualifying in 12th. And now, let's get down trackside for the command.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Get our rhythm. Get ready to rock and roll today. It's a long race. There will be a lot of pit stops. So just go out there, do what you got to do. No mistakes. That's the big thing today. Just no mistakes.
And there's the green flag for the GEICO 250 at the Talladega Superspeedway. Justin Haley gets a bit of a jump on the start above the 46 truck of Chandler Smith. Haley's got the 88 truck of Matt Crafton on his tailgate through 1 and 2. The 17 truck starting to get a bit of a run coming down the back straightaway. Also, the 51 truck of Drew Dollar trying to go all the way down on the bottom, but he does not have very much drafting help. Now gets in line with the 21 and the 03 of Scott Lagasse Jr. all the way on the bottom as well. Side by side with Crafton now going for the race lead on Justin Haley. Lagasse Jr. inches ahead onto the front stretch, moves up to the middle lane to block Crafton. Here comes the 51 of Drew Dollar all the way down on the inside, getting some help from the 21 of Zane Smith. Drew Dollar leads lap 1. Dollar up to the outside, Zane Smith on the inside, getting a push from Ben Rhodes. Zane Smith is now out front. Rhodes in second and Sheldon Creed going for third. Smith now without drafting help down the backstretch. He's going to try and get some from the 51 truck of Drew Dollar. Here comes Sheldon Creed trying to make it work. And now John Hunter Nemechek, 3 wide down on the inside, using a slingshot move, much like what we saw at Texas World Speedway. And for the moment, that 4 truck inches ahead, although he does not have very much organization down on the inside to help him. Looks like the 21 truck of Zane Smith has the advantage with a push coming from the 51. Zane Smith leads at the start-finish line. Down to turn number 1, that 4 truck still using the inside. He's got some help coming from the 23 of Brett Holmes. 25 truck of Michael Self in line behind Holmes as well. Smith holding that race lead as the 51 truck tries to break away from the pack. Now to the inside. There's a slingshot once again. Side by side for the top spot between Drew Dollar and Zane Smith. These trucks punch such a big hole through the air. You can really just pull these slingshot maneuvers trying to ramp down the banking as well to gain just a little bit of extra momentum entering these turns. Down to the start-finish line, it looks like it's going to be Drew Dollar to lead lap number 3 by a close margin above Zane Smith. Brett Holmes down on the inside now with a run coming from Michael Self. Already some 4 wide racing in the back with Gus Dean all the way down on the bottom. Michael Self into second. There's Norm Benning going for third all the way down on the inside. Great run going for the 6 truck. 25 and 23 trucks currently hold the advantage over the field. Norm Benning getting a run all the way down on the bottom from the 42 truck of Carson Hocevar. Down the front straightaway, the 23 still holds the advantage up on the outside line. Getting a little bit of help from that 25 of Michael Self. Brett Holmes leads at the start-finish line. Through 1 and 2, Norm Benning still trying to use that bottom line momentum. It looks like the outside lines have the dominance on the straightaways, and the inside line has the dominance in the corners. Because of, like I mentioned, the lower horsepower Ilmor NT1s, you can really hold the bottom in comparison to a Cup car. 23 truck inches ahead once again. Norm Benning might have the preferred lane through turns 3 and 4. Just barely inching ahead now on the exit of the 4th turn with some help still coming from Hocevar. In line behind the 42 truck is the 92. Benning all the way up to the outside to block the 23 truck. At the line, it looks like Norm Benning may be able to lead this lap. But the nod goes to the 42 truck of Hocevar, just barely edging out the 6 of Norm Benning at the stripe. Hocevar getting the push from the 92 truck of Austin Theriault, and behind Theriault is the 45 of Brett Moffitt. Hocevar up to the outside line now, getting up in front of the 51 truck of Drew Dollar. Outside line has a little bit better organization right now than the middle and inside lanes. But here comes Brett Moffitt getting the push from Stephen Parsons in the 09 truck. Moffitt out front, up to the outside line to block. Parsons all the way down on the bottom, getting up side by side with Moffitt. Moffitt leads at the stripe. And Parsons has Parker Kligerman in line behind him. And behind Kligerman is the 52 truck of Stuart Friesen. Parker Kligerman going for the race lead down the backstretch. Friesen now with not too much drafting help, but he's got some help coming from Johnny Sauter. Side by side for the race lead. The entire pack is in this lead draft. As now the 13 truck takes up second, 52 into the lead. The last time by, 42nd was less than 1 second behind the race leader. That's how tight the pack racing is at the moment, as now Johnny Sauter goes to the race lead down the front straightaway. Sauter getting pushed out front by the 32 truck of Gus Dean, as now Dean gets the run on the inside. Getting the push from the Texas World Speedway winner Ryan Truex. Truex into second. Peters looks like he's going to take up third. But Gus Dean is now out front, although he jumps up to the outside line. Not too much help on the top lane right now. Grant Enfinger trying to shoot it through the middle, and now almost going 4 wide. But fortunately, he gets back in line as Timothy Peters rockets out to the race lead. Down the front straightaway, the 87 truck moves up to the outside line to block the 32. 98 of Grant Enfinger currently out front. Here comes Gray Galding with some help from Austin Wayne Self. At the line, it was Galding to lead the lap. Through turns 1 and 2, that 53 truck still out front. Here comes the 22 of Self, all the way down on the inside. Austin Wayne Self trying to take the race lead, goes up to the 53 truck to try and side draft. Here comes the 04 of Corey Roper down on the bottom. Roper getting the push from Austin Hill and takes the race lead through 3 and 4. Roper now out front. Austin Hill running in second. Spencer Davis battling with Hill for that second spot. David Reagan now cutting his way up into the top 5. Some 4 wide racing between 2 ThorSport trucks and the 60 truck of Casey Mears farther in the back of the field, as they continuously fan out trying to find more and more areas to make up track position. Spencer Davis going for the race lead on Corey Roper down the backstretch. Davis moves up to the middle lane. Roper has some drafting help down the back straightaway. Let's see who's going to get the edge entering turn 3. It looks like it might be David Reagan, all the way down on the inside, getting some help from the defending champion Sheldon Creed. Reagan now out front. Groups of 4 wide racing at the moment. Sheldon Creed getting some help from his teammate Chase Purdy. Back down to the start-finish line. It is Creed to lead lap 10. Here comes Purdy down to the inside. He doesn't have that much drafting help. He's going to try and make it work. And Chase Purdy now out front, the number 26 truck. But here comes the 30 of Brennan Poole down on the bottom, going 4 wide for second. GMS trucks working together up on the outside line, the 2 and 26 trucks. But here comes the 30 truck hooked up with the 44 of Trevor Bain, taking the race lead through 3 and 4. Oh, and contact gets made. The big one forms in the back. Several trucks pile into the mess, including the pole sitter, Justin Haley. 40 truck of Will Rogers involved, 16 involved, 03, 75, and several others. In the race back to the start-finish line, the 18 truck of Ty Gibbs was your race leader. Above the 30 of Brennan Poole, the 44 of Trevor Bain, the number 99 of Ben Rhodes, and the 31 of Ty Dillon. So through turns 3 and 4, it looks like the number 92 truck pushes up into the 87. And this just starts a chain reaction. 53 gets turned to the 75, 75 up into the 16. The 4 truck sends the 92 around, collects the 24. And about 15 trucks in total were involved in this mess. There you see the 40 of Will Rogers getting involved, the 03 truck of Scott Lagasse Jr. Brett Holmes looks like he just barely misses the accident. Somewhat luck right there, as well as really good luck for the number 19 truck of Derek Kraus to miss it right there. 87 of Timothy Peters, the third-place finisher at Dover last weekend. 42 of Carson Hocevar spinning down to the inside. Looks like the number 52 truck actually misses this accident. Gus Dean may be involved in this just a little bit. And the number 53 truck also got quite a bit of damage out of this, and Norm Benning had to check up quite a bit for the accident. And so now the trucks out of the race following that accident are Justin Haley, John Hunter Nemechek, Scott Lagasse Jr., Austin Hill, and Michael Self, all out of the race after that early race big one. And this time by, Ty Gibbs leads the entire field onto pit road. And the first truck out of the pits was Ty Gibbs getting out in front of Ben Rhodes, Brennan Poole, Trevor Bayne, and Ty Dillon. And Joe Nemechek has had a mechanical failure. He will be bringing that 8 truck down pit road with the pace car, retiring from today's event, unfortunately. And there's the green flag with just 5 laps to go in stage number 1. Ben Rhodes gets just a little bit of a jump on the 18 truck of Ty Gibbs, but here comes Trevor Bayne, 3 wide down on the inside, going for second. Brennan Poole quickly takes up the second spot off of the 99 truck of Ben Rhodes. Rhodes has dropped all the way down to 4th, with Trevor Bayne taking up 3rd, now cutting up into the outside line, with Ty Gibbs still out front. Ben Rhodes now going to challenge that 44 truck for 3rd spot. Looks like he can't quite do it. And now the 30 of Brennan Poole down to the inside of the 18 truck of Ty Gibbs down the front straightaway. Trevor Bayne, however, sides with the 18 truck of Gibbs. Looks like that might move Bayne up into 2nd. And up on the outside line, Trevor Bayne has taken up the 2nd spot off the 30 truck of Brennan Poole. Here comes a big run coming from the 22 and 2 trucks, leading the outside and inside lanes, as the pack now catches up to the front 2 runners. Here comes Trevor Bayne, taking a look down to the inside, the 18 truck of Gibbs. Looks like Austin Wayne Self is going to side with the 18 truck. Big time momentum coming out of the 2 truck of Sheldon Creed. Trevor Bayne is going to take up the race lead off of the 18 truck of Ty Gibbs, as Gibbs does not have any drafting help up on the outside line, but quickly the 04 truck pushes the 2 of Sheldon Creed out front. The number 2 truck is your leader at the start-finish line, but here comes the 04 of Roper, getting some help from Derek Kraus. The inside line has much better organization. Roper now out front. Kraus into 2nd, and Drew Dollar taking up 3rd. Down the back straightaway, Roper up to the outside line to block the 2 truck of Sheldon Creed. Looks like that's going to work. He might be able to clear that 19 truck, and he does it for just the moment. Kraus has the inside line, but look at Cody Rawbaugh all the way on the bottom. Rawbaugh now side by side with Kraus and Roper, 3 wide for the race lead. Getting some help coming from the 60 truck of Casey Mears down to the start-finish line. It is the number 04 to lead at the stripe. Through 1 and 2, that 9 truck all the way down the inside trying to get the momentum. 2 truck of Sheldon Creed pulls the slingshot on the exit of turn 2. Side by side down the back straightaway. Casey Mears leading the very inside line. Him and Crafton trying to make up some momentum down there. Ty Gibbs now siding with Sheldon Creed in the middle. Almost tandeming going on right now between the 04, 44, 2, and 18 trucks, with it looks like Sheldon Creed being pushed out front by the 18 truck of Ty Gibbs. Side by side through the tri-oval, now just 1 lap to go in stage 1. At the stripe, we got a close race for the top spot. I believe it was Sheldon Creed to lead at the line. Scoring gives it to Creed. Here comes Crafton, all the way down on the bottom. Matt Crafton now out front. Jordan Anderson into second, and Gus Dean running in third. Movers and shakers going on everywhere as Crafton goes up to the outside line to block. Anderson in the middle. Gus Dean all the way down on the bottom. Now a four-wide move for position by Brett Moffitt. On the inside, the 13, 3, and 88 trucks. Gus Dean out front on the exit of turn number 4. 45 truck of Brett Moffitt getting a push from the 11 of Spencer Davis. Moffitt, 1 lap ago, was in 13th, and now he wins stage number 1 in the GEICO 250 at Talladega Superspeedway. An impressive run there at the end of the stage, and now being put 5 wide under caution. Well, there's some contact right there. Into the wall goes the 88 of Matt Crafton, as well as the 45 of Brett Moffitt. 2 truck of Sheldon Creed with some pretty significant front-end damage. Smoke coming out of the 88 truck of Matt Crafton. His day might be done, and this is very reminiscent to Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s tough luck at Talladega last season. Remember, he won stage 1 and 2 in the Cup Series race there last season. He wrecked at the end of stage 2. Well, Moffitt rallies from 13th to 1st in 1 lap and gets crashed under the caution after stage 1. It looks like Crafton's day is over, and the 2 truck of Sheldon Creed, our defending champion, has significant front-end damage. You see Moffitt slowing up, and that just opens up the field to try and go 5 wide underneath him. Contact gets made between Gus Dean and Cody Rawbaugh, I believe, turning the 3 truck up into the 88. Crafton up into the outside wall. Anderson into the wall as well. 45 gets turned around. 2 truck got a little bit of damage out of this. But I believe that actually blew the radiator on the 88 truck of Crafton, and his day is done. NASCAR on Speed Station is being brought to you by RFJ, the official home of the RFJ AI series. By Knife Friend 725, the brains behind Project Retroval. And by Anthony's Online Simulation League. And now at the end of stage number 1, Brett Moffitt leads the entire field down pit road. First truck out of the pits is Spencer Davis getting out in front of Johnny Sauter. Then in a close race for third, it looks like it is going to be Casey Mears getting out in front of the 04 truck of Corey Roper and the 44 of Trevor Bain. And now a lot of track position has been lost by the number 45 team because they had to get his truck repaired. And now Brett Moffitt is back out onto the racetrack, but he lost about 25 spots in the pits. Well, they arguably got the number 2 truck of Sheldon Creed repaired. All they did was cut the hood off the truck, but he's still out on the racetrack with no real issues on that GMS Chevrolet. And now Spencer Davis leading the field down into the GEICO restart zone for a single file restart to start stage number 2. Green flag. Davis does not get off to a very good restart above the 13 truck of Sauter. Already, here comes Sauter down to the bottom. Going for the top spot. He's got some help coming from Corey Roper already. Johnny Sauter out front in the number 13 truck. Here comes Roper down to the bottom. Spencer Davis quickly dropping back several spots in that number 11 truck. As now Trevor Bain and Roper working together. Here comes Bain all the way down on the bottom. 3 wide for the top spot, entering turn number 3. Davis already outside the top 5 in that 11 truck. 44 of Trevor Bain back out front. As now Cody Rawbaugh down on the inside, being put 4 wide by Chase Purdy in the 26. Coming down to the start-finish line, the battle for second is led by a very close margin by the 04 truck of Corey Roper. But here comes Casey Mears to the inside of the 44 of Trevor Bain. Mears getting some help from the 32 truck of Gus Dean. Side by side down the back straightaway with Bain in the 44 truck. A little bit better organization for the outside line. Bain getting some help from Roper. And the 44 truck inches ahead, that inside line, losing just a little bit of organization. Onto the front straightaway, still the 44 truck inching ahead. 04 as well trying to clear the pack. And here comes Roper, slingshotting down to the inside, coming down to the start-finish line. Bain led at the stripe, but Roper is going to try and pressure him down to turn number 1. Roper does not have that much drafting help in line behind him. Bain has the number 13 truck all over his tailgate. Onto the backstretch. Trevor Bain being pushed back out to the race lead by the 13 truck of Johnny Sauter. Roper has drafting help coming from the 60 of Casey Mears on the inside. Still running side by side for the top spot with Bain onto the front stretch. Here comes Gus Dean, trying to go 3 wide on the inside, the 60 and 11 trucks. Side by side to the stripe, it is Bain to lead lap 27. Roper still trying to time a pass on that 44 truck. Here comes the 26 and 32 all the way down on the inside. 3 wide for the race lead down the backstretch with Gus Dean. All the way on the bottom, 04 truck in the middle, and 44 up on the outside. Bain once again getting great drafting help coming from the 13 truck of Sauter. But Sauter tried to make a look down to the inside, but he stays in line. A little bit of contact right there between the 51 and 9 trucks of Dollar and Rabaugh. And down the front straightaway, the 13 and 44 trucks looks like they have cleared the pack and now have a pretty clear margin out front. If you can run single file like this, you will go quite a bit faster than if you're stuck in a pack in a giant hornet's nest like that 04 truck is, being side drafted from every angle. The 44 and 13 trucks can just work together and try to gap the field. Although if I know Johnny Sauter, he's going to try to put a move on Trevor Bain fairly soon. But these two are doing a great job at working together for the moment. They have already gapped third place by about 2 or so truck lengths. If they can keep that up, they might be able to extend that lead out just a little bit farther. But with the large holes that these trucks punch in the air, it's a little bit hard to stay out front once you have a gap like this. It normally just lets the pack catch right back up. And now the 11 truck of Spencer Davis looks like he has cleared the pack as well. So top 4 or so trucks have single filed out. Here comes Sauter down on the inside. It was only a matter of time. Johnny Sauter takes up the race lead down the back straightaway. Still going side by side with Trevor Bain. Sauter has help in line with Ty Gibbs. Sauter's going to have that preferred inside line through 3 and 4, although the inside line is not as well developed as the very top that Trevor Bain is running on. Chase Purdy trying to develop a third lane right on that yellow line. Down to the start-finish line. The 11 truck and 44 are hooked up very well. Looks like Bain's going to lead the stripe once again. Just 10 laps to go in stage 2. Bain and Sauter still side by side, but here comes Chase Purdy with a run coming from Austin Wayne Self. Some 4-wide racing with Casey Mears in the middle, right around mid-pack. Is Austin Wayne Self trying to go 4-wide for the race lead. But that allowed Trevor Bain to shoot out front. And now Self going for second. But that has brought the 44 truck back into the mix. They are going 4 wide for the top spot. 3 rows, 4 wide for the moment. 22 all the way down on the bottom. Then the 26, 13, and 44 trucks battling for the race lead at the stripe. Scoring gives it to Austin Wayne Self. And now Self has cleared the field. Derek Kraus taking up second. Trevor Bain quickly falling back. Self moves up to the outside line to try and block Johnny Sauter. 19 truck moves up 1 lane. Casey Mears now the leader of the bottom line. Mears getting a great push coming from the 30 of Brennan Poole. And look at this, 4 wide once again for the race lead. Mears making it work on the bottom. The NextEra Energy 250 winner at Daytona. Mears getting some help from the 30 truck of Brennan Poole down to the start-finish line. for lap number 32. It looks like Mears is going to lead at the stripe. He can't quite cut up to the outside line to try and block. Here comes Brendan Poole all the way down on the bottom. Poole now out front. 41 truck of Dawson Cram trying to move him up off the bottom. Poole jumps up to the outside line to block. Cram in the middle. Side by side with the 22 for second, but here comes the 51 shooting it in down on the inside. 4 wide for around third spot by the 12 truck of Christian Eckes. Drew Dollar out front at Talladega. He jumps up to the outside to try and block. Can't quite do it because of the momentum from the 30. Side by side for the race lead once again. At the stripe, it is the 51 of Drew Dollar to lead. And we have lap traffic up in front of the race leaders, those being the 53 of Gray Galding and the 17 of David Reagan. Here comes Gus Dean all the way down on the inside, trying to take up the race lead with a push from Ty Dillon. Now almost 4 wide for the top spot once again. Ty Dillon trying to make it work all the way down on the bottom. Incredible pack racing at Talladega so far, using up every single inch of the racing surface. Dillon takes advantage of the 2 lap trucks. Rockets out in front of the entire pack. 04 truck, though, on the inside line, getting the push from Ryan Truex. Looks like Roper takes up the race lead above Truex, and then Dillon in third. These 3 with such a large advantage will be Freight Train, though, once this pack gets back up to full power after being blocked by the 17 and 53 trucks. As we all know, drafting is incredibly crucial here at Talladega, and we can just watch down the back straightaway as these trucks gain ground quickly on the 3 trucks that managed to miss the lap traffic. The group trying to catch up is being led by the 32 of Gus Dean and the 21 and 18 trucks. Already look at the difference in momentum as they run up on the race leaders at almost 5 to 6 miles an hour faster, although they have to figure out a way around. Gus Dean gets slowed up just a little bit by the 31 truck. Here comes Ty Gibbs down on the inside using his momentum. Now 2 more lap trucks up in front of the race leaders. The 2 of Creed and the 40 of Will Rogers. 30 and 04 trucks both get blocked. Here comes Rabaugh down on the inside. Although he runs without any drafting help at the moment, Rabaugh is now your race leader. 21 truck of Zane Smith follows suit all the way down on the inside. Looks like the 11 truck of Spencer Davis will do the same. Rabaugh out front above Smith, Davis, and a battle ongoing for 4th to try and get around the lap trucks. Here comes Zane Smith with a big run on the number 9 truck of Rabaugh. And down to the inside. Some contact right there between the 32 and 12 trucks, but they managed to keep it together through the tri-oval. 9 and 11 trucks working together up on the outside line. 21 trying to make it work all the way on the bottom. Down the back straightaway, watch the closing rate of the trucks in line behind as they are running at completely full power. These trucks out front have almost no drafting help. Here comes Roper all the way down the inside at what looks to be 10 miles an hour faster than the race leaders. Roper quickly up into second, all the way up to the tailgate of Davis, now down to the inside. Roper back out front. Here comes Ty Gibbs all the way to the bottom. Ty Dillon as well involved in this mess. Gibbs leads at the start-finish line. Dillon in the middle, and Roper all the way up on the outside. Cram pushing that 18 truck out front. Cram running in second, Purdy running in third. Johnny Sauter trying to get his way up into 4th. Down the long back straightaway, 18 truck of Ty Gibbs still out front. As now here comes the 13 of Sauter, 3 wide for second. And already going for the race lead with a move on Ty Gibbs. Sauter back out front. Going to try and slide up in front of the 18 truck. And he does it. 21 truck of Zane Smith all the way down on the inside, getting a push from the 33 of Ryan Truex. Here comes Truex getting a push from Stephen Parsons. Just 2 laps to go in stage number 2. Side by side for the top spot. Sauter on the outside, Ryan Truex on the inside. Truex jumps up to the middle lane to try and side draft the 13 truck of Johnny Sauter. And Sauter holds it with a push coming from the 18. Here comes a slingshot from Ty Gibbs. He executed that move perfectly, got as much of the drafting assistance from the 13 truck as possible, then swung down to the inside to try and use his momentum. Now side by side for the top spot with just one lap to go in stage number 2. Side by side for the top spot, almost too close to call at the stripe, but scoring gives it to Johnny Sauter. Ty Gibbs getting the push from Stephen Parsons through turns 1 and 2. It looks like Gibbs is going to take up the top spot down the back straightaway with that 09 truck of Stephen Parsons all over his tailgate. Down the back straightaway, that 13 truck inches ahead for just a moment. 4-wide move being made by the 22 and 44 trucks all the way on the bottom. 18 truck getting a push from the 09 of Stephen Parsons out front. The field fanning out for as much track position as possible. Back to the caution flag. Side by side for stage number 2 victory. At the line, it is Ty Gibbs to win stage number 2. In the 18 truck for Kyle Busch Motorsports, Ty Gibbs wins the second stage above the 13, 09, 41, and 21 trucks. And we'll be back at the Talladega Superspeedway after a quick message from our partners. NASCAR on Speed Station is being brought to you by RFJ, the official home of the RFJ AI series. By Knife Friend 725, the brains behind Project Retroval. And by Anthony's Online Simulation League. At the conclusion of stage number 2, Brett Moffitt, your stage 1 winner, only was able to drive his way up into 21st spot after losing the draft. Not a very good comeback for Moffitt so far. He really has to get that performance back in the 45 truck to have a shot at the victory, because we know that truck is fast, but they got just that little bit of damage from that skirmish after the stage number 1 caution, and they need to get some more of that repaired under this pit stop, as now Ty Gibbs leads the entire field down pit road this time by. And the first truck off of pit road was Stephen Parsons with a fuel-only pit stop. Already some early race strategy going on with the 18 truck of Ty Gibbs getting out in second above Johnny Sauter. Then the 41 truck of Dawson Cram and the 22 of Austin Wayne Self. And just an update on your points situation. Dawson Cram entered this race second in points. He currently runs in 4th. The point leader entering today's event, Grant Enfinger, runs in 18th. So at the moment, Dawson Cram is your point leader. And now Stephen Parsons leading Ty Gibbs down into the GEICO restart zone for the start of the final stage in the GEICO 250. Green flag. Ty Gibbs looks like he gets a bit of a jump on the restart above the number 09, but here comes Johnny Sauter down to the inside of that 18 truck. Sauter, a very aggressive restarter, now side by side with the 09 truck of Stephen Parsons for the race lead. Sauter has some drafting help coming from Austin Wayne Self in the 22 truck. Now here comes the 41 truck down to the inside, as well as the 26 trying to form up a new lane with his teammate in line behind. 3 lanes already. Purdy with enough momentum to take up the top spot through 3 and 4. He restarted in 6th and already up to the race lead on the exit of the 4th turn. Now moves up to the outside line, as well as his teammate Zane Smith. GMS potentially playing some teamwork right now, which is a very great strategy to try and keep your trucks out front at a super speedway. As here comes the 33 truck of Ryan Truex down on the inside, trying to make things work by himself. 4 wide as well, down on the inside by the number 9 truck of Cody Rawbaugh. An aggressive move, but it looks like it's not going to pay off down the back stretch, as the 21 and 26 trucks still out front. Here comes the 22 of Austin Wayne Self, trying to use that slingshot move down on the bottom through 3 and 4. For the moment, he holds 3rd spot, although he does not have any drafting help on the bottom. And it looks like Chase Purdy is still going to hold the race lead. Here comes a big run from the number 33 truck. And now the 13 of Johnny Sauter down to the inside. He's got momentum, but no friends in line behind him. Here comes Ty Gibbs going up to help the number 13 truck. Still Rabaugh going 4 wide down on the inside. And now Johnny Sauter being put in the middle by Ty Gibbs. Ryan Truex going through the middle as well, though, to help Johnny Sauter. But Trevor Bayne pushes that 18 truck of Gibbs out front. Rabaugh still running that 4 wide lane down on the inside line, getting pushed by the 32 truck of Gus Dean, trying to make up as much track position as quickly as possible. And now Ty Gibbs out front, but the 44 and 18 trucks have separated. Gibbs leads at the line, but now the 33 truck of Ryan Truex pressuring them for the race lead through 1 and 2. Ryan Truex now out front. Rabaugh, who you saw make several 4 wide passes in the last 2 laps. He's now challenging Ryan Truex for the top spot down the back stretch. Here comes the 32 truck of Gus Dean all the way down on the bottom as well. Dean getting a push from Stuart Friesen. Now side by side with Ryan Truex. 4 wide racing on the exit of turn number 4. Gus Dean moves up to the outside to try and block. Could not quite do it. Middle line does not have very much organization. Looks like the 33 truck of Ryan Truex is going to hold the advantage at the stripe. Truex leads the lap. Stuart Friesen and Casey Mears working together down on the inside. Drew Dollar making a 4 wide move down on the bottom, as well as Ty Dillon. Down the back stretch, the 33 truck trying to work together with the 44 of Trevor Bayne. Looks like it's going to work, at least for the moment, as that 33 truck has cleared the field. 52 truck dropping back through the middle, and the 51 really making it work on the very bottom line, getting some help from the 31 of Ty Dillon. Christian Eckes trying to squeeze it in 4 wide all the way on the bottom, as here comes a move by Ty Dillon going 3 wide for the race lead. But once again, it is Ryan Truex to lead at the stripe, with a push coming from the 44 of Trevor Bayne. And here comes Bayne. He's trying to figure out his way around the 33. Outside line now separated. Side by side for the top spot down the back straightaway. 44 and 33 trucks battle for the spot. Those two running side by side is bringing the momentum back from the inside lines. 31 truck of Ty Dillon trying to build the momentum. Here comes the 12 truck trying to turn his way underneath the 31, but then decides in line behind the number 31. And now 3 wide for the top spot down the front stretch. 44 truck moved into the middle. And it looks like at the stripe once again, it is Ryan Truex to lead the lap. Austin Wayne Self 4 wide on the bottom of the 19 truck and several others at the moment. Ty Dillon still trying to pull the old Lone Ranger move down on the inside line with not too much drafting help. Kind of trying to work by himself. The Germain trucks have not really been working together all that well throughout today's race, at least in comparison to how they're working together at Daytona. Today they've been mostly separated, but that 33 truck is really working well out front, as he has led the last 5 or so laps by just riding the outside line. But here comes Ty Dillon with another 3 wide move all the way on the bottom, this time being pushed by Corey Roper. And at the stripe, it is Ryan Truex to lead once again. Ty Gibbs holds second. That 98 truck of Grant Enfinger just barely trying to hold on to this lead draft. And now here comes a 3 wide move by Corey Roper all the way down on the bottom in the 04 truck. Getting some drafting help coming from the 22 of Austin Wayne Self. It looks like that 18 and 33 trucks hook up once again, and Ryan Truex has cleared the 2 inside lanes. Onto the front straightaway, side by side between the 04 and 33. Outside line dominant once again. Ty Gibbs now looks like he's going to clear the inside lanes. Might be able to set up a slingshot on the 33. And here he comes. A lot of momentum out of that 18 truck. Doesn't have that much drafting help, but he might be able to slide up in front of that 33 truck on the exit of the turn. Here comes the 26 down to help him. Truex hung out to dry on the outside line. Looks like the 18 truck of Ty Gibbs is going to take up the race lead on the backstretch. Gibbs now out front in the 18 truck. Not the first time he's been out front today after winning stage number 2. Going to slide up in front of that number 33 truck, trying to take his line away and get some of that momentum off of Ryan Truex, hoping for a push from behind. At the start-finish line, it is Gibbs to lead the lap. Although the 26 and 04 trucks pressuring him down to turn 1. Roper going for the race lead all the way on the bottom. Grant Enfinger making a 4-wide pass at the tail end of this pack. Roper aggressively moves up to the outside line, tried to block Ty Gibbs, but couldn't quite do it. That 18 truck with just too much momentum. Now side by side for the race lead goes Austin Wayne Self. 3 wide down to turn number 3. Self out front in that number 22 truck. 13 of Johnny Sauter into second. Self up to the outside line to block. Sauter put into the middle with almost no drafting help at the stripe. It is going to be, I believe, Sauter to lead the lap. Scoring gives it to the number 9 of Cody Rawbaugh. Leads at the start-finish line, but already that number 32 truck of Gus Dean on the inside line pressures that number 9 truck down the backstretch. Rawbaugh does not have very much drafting help up on the top. It looks like Gus Dean is going to take it for the moment, although he's already coming under fire from the number 98 of Enfinger. Enfinger side by side for the top spot. Moves up to the middle lane. And now here comes Dawson Cram. This is the battle between first and second in points entering today's race. Cram leads at the stripe. I swear we have a different leader every single time we come back to the start-finish line for the most part, with the exceptions of sometimes when we have Truex going on a dominant run of laps for about 10 consecutive, as now the 12 truck of Christian Eckes has cleared the field for the top spot. Number 30 of Brennan Poole going forward as well down the backstretch. 51 all the way down on the bottom with almost no drafting help, but he's going to try and make it stick. On the exit of turn number 4, he tried to move up in front of the 30 truck, couldn't quite do it. Here we come down to the stripe. Who's going to lead it? I believe it's going to be the 51 truck of Drew Dollar to lead lap number 56. And Dollar's going to take the lead away. Down on the inside, entering turn number 1, and going to try and slide up in front of the top line down the back straightaway and put the block on the 30 truck of Brennan Poole. Down the back stretch, it looks like it's working. 51 truck with a pretty clear margin above the second place runner, which is now the 26 of Purdy, who's getting some help coming from the 44 of Trevor Bayne. Purdy might have cleared him. Now slides up in front of the outside line. Purdy takes the race lead. Ty Dillon fanning out 3 wide for the top spot at the stripe. And it is Purdy to lead the lap. Lap traffic up in front of the race leader as now Ty Dillon goes for the race lead on the bottom. Ty Dillon now out front in the 31 Andy's Frozen Custard Silverado. Moving up to the middle lane with now the 2 40, 17, and 75 trucks up in front of your race leaders. This is going to be very difficult to try and dodge. The 26 out front above the 51, as now here comes Drew Dollar trying to slingshot down on the inside of that 26. Side by side, down the front straightaway. And here comes the lap traffic, right up in front of the leaders. It blocks the 26 and the 51 trucks. Dollar shoots down to the inside, opening up the door for the very bottom line. Dollar takes up the race lead above the 09 of Parsons, the 13 of Sauter, and the 33 of Ryan Truex. As now the rest of the field tries to figure out a way down to the inside lines. Down the backstretch, the 09 truck of Stephen Parsons all over the tailgate of that 51, as here comes the 13 truck on the inside line as well. And here comes the 60 of Casey Mears trying to force that number 18 truck out of the middle lane. But Mears has almost no drafting help as Johnny Sauter takes the race lead on the exit of turn 4. Once again, the pack is going to catch up very quickly to these front runners because of the closing rate of the way these trucks punch a giant hole through the air. 33 and 18 trucks trying to work together. Down the inside, trying to push their way past the 13 truck of Johnny Sauter. Down the back straightaway, the 04, 41, and 60 trucks starting to gain ground as the 13 and 18 trucks run side by side into turn 3. Gibbs holds it for just a moment, as now here comes Ryan Truex, shooting it all the way down to the inside. 3 wide down the front straightaway for the top spot. Gibbs being put in the middle with almost no drafting help. 33 and 09 working together. 13 truck with the outside line. It is Sauter to lead at the line. Johnny Sauter holds it for the moment above the 33 truck as Ryan Truex still trying to pressure him for the top spot down the back stretch. Side by side on the exit of turn number 4, Ryan Truex takes up the top spot off the 13 truck of Johnny Sauter, but these two still run side by side down the front straightaway. And at the stripe, it's going to be Sauter to lead lap number 61. Lap traffic once again up in front of the race leaders. This time it's the 23 truck of Brett Holmes, as now side by side between the 33 and 13. Lap truck up in front of the leaders. Sauter gets boxed in once again. Ryan Truex shoots by on the inside. Truex out front. Parsons into second, and Cram running in third. Cram and Parsons side by side for the second spot. Looks like Cram's going to take it, as now Cram gets drafting help from Casey Mears. And Ryan Truex with almost no drafting help up on the outside line. He leads at the stripe, but here comes Casey Mears going 3 wide down on the bottom. Casey Mears picks up where he left off at Daytona, taking the race lead at Talladega Superspeedway in that 60 truck. But already, here comes the 19 down to the inside, and now the 12 truck going even lower. Eckes with almost no drafting help, but here comes Rabaugh up to the tailgate. Christian Eckes takes the race lead on the exit of turn number 4. Caution flag is out. Yellow flag is being displayed on the speedway. Eckes is your race leader for the moment. Side by side down to the start-finish line for the top spot. At the stripe, it looks like it's going to be taken by the 60 of Casey Mears, edging out those 9 and 12 trucks at the stripe. Casey Mears is your race leader above the 9 truck of Rabaugh, the 12 of Eckes, the 52 of Friesen, and the 19 of Derek Kraus. Incredible pack racing at Talladega so far. And here's what happened to bring out the caution flag. Entering turn number 3, the number 99 truck of Ben Rhodes has a right rear tire going down. Abruptly slows up, drives onto the apron, has debris coming off of that number 99, runs through the grass, up back onto the racetrack for a moment, turns back down, and runs onto pit road, but the caution flag comes out due to the debris and the safety concerns of him weaving back up and back down the racetrack. And now the 60 truck of Casey Mears leads almost the entirety of the lead lap field on the pit road. This will substitute the anticipated green flag pit stop, as now these trucks will be good to make it to the end. However, the 09 truck of Stephen Parsons has decided to stay out, being the only lead lap truck to do so. So now Parsons will be your race leader. The rest of the trucks you see there behind him are 1 lap down and will pit 1 lap later. And the first truck out of the pits is the 60 of Casey Mears, getting out in front of Rabaugh, Eckes, Cram, and Spencer Davis. And here's the situation for the restart 09 truck of Parsons out front because he stayed out, as I previously mentioned. Number 99 truck restarts in what would be second if he was on the lead lap, but he dropped one lap down because of that emergency pit stop for a flat right rear tire. But because they already changed his tires and gave him a fresh load of fuel, he decided to stay out, so that's why he's starting at the front end of the field. Then the trucks behind the number 99 truck are on fresh rubber with a fresh load of fuel and are good to make it to the end of today's running. And Stephen Parsons now slowly leading the field down into the GEICO restart zone single file above Casey Mears and Cody Rawbaugh. Green flag. Already you can tell Mears gets a bit of a jump on the number 99 truck of Ben Rhodes. Entering turn number 1, Rhodes jumps down to the inside, as well as Dawson Cram in the number 41. 9 truck as well, already trying to get around the number 99 truck of Ben Rhodes, the lap truck. They're doing this to have a very quick shot at getting around the number 09 of Stephen Parsons, as he's kind of sitting by himself without very much drafting help. This is the best opportunity they have to get around him. As already, here comes the 60. Slingshotting down to the inside. Number 9 and 11 trucks working together on the very bottom lane as Casey Mears takes up the race lead on the exit of the 4th turn. Looks like Stephen Parsons has gotten up to speed and runs in the 2nd spot. Dawson Cram running in 3rd in that 41 truck, trying to make this a very good points day and trying to take that point lead off of Grant Enfinger. Here comes the 09 already to the inside. Stephen Parsons with a lot of momentum right now. Down the back straightaway, that 60 truck though still out front. Parsons not with very much help. That 41 truck working together with the 60 through turns 3 and 4. And onto the front straightaway. The 60 truck of Casey Mears still out front. That number 99 truck in the mix, even knowing he's 1 lap down. And here comes Dawson Cram trying to pull the slingshot on the 60 down the front straightaway. Side by side into turn number 1. Neither of them have very much drafting help. Inside line starting to make the most gains, being led by the 33 of Ryan Truex. But now Truex moves into the middle to try and help the 41. Lap truck of Ben Rhodes pushing the 60 of Casey Mears out front. And through 3 and 4, it looks like Dawson Cram has the preferred line for the moment. Not too much drafting help coming into the tri-oval, but once again, 3 wide for the top spot. At the stripe, it looks like it might be taken by the 60 of Casey Mears. And at the line, it's going to be Mears to hold it. Zane Smith trying to take up the top spot, 3 wide down on the inside. And Smith is going to slide up into the outside line to try and pull the block on the 60. Can't quite do it. Casey Mears still trying to fight for the top spot down the back straightaway. But here comes the 32 of Gus Dean all the way on the bottom. Dean takes up the top spot on the exit of turn number 4. Stuart Friesen in line taking up second. 09 truck of Stephen Parsons coming on the pit road. Remember, he just stayed out. And now Parsons is potentially going to drop maybe 1 lap down for having to come on the pit road. Not very well planned pit strategy for the number 09 team. Seems like every time they have a race going very well for them, something bad has to happen, whether it be them getting caught up in an accident or poor pit strategy in this example. But once again, it looks like Parsons is taken out of contention for a race win. But down the back straightaway, Gus Dean holds the race lead with a push coming from Casey Mears. Here comes Mears to the inside. Mears trying to go 2 in a row on the Superspeedways. Side by side onto the front straightaway. And it looks like that 32 truck has a little bit more drafting help coming from the lap truck of Ben Rhodes. At the start-finish line, it is Dean to lead at the stripe. But here comes that 12 truck up to the tailgate of the 60, giving him some help through turns 1 and 2. And Casey Mears back out front at Talladega. Jumps up to the outside line to put the block on Gus Dean. Into turn number 3. Casey Mears still out front. The 12 and 52 trucks trying to work together in the middle lane. And Mears still using that momentum from the number 32 to try and get around that 12 truck and try to stall out the middle and inside lanes. Outside line with the dominant organization at the moment, as here comes Gus Dean slingshotting it to the inside of the 60. Gus Dean takes up the top spot for the moment. Can't quite clear him on the exit of turn number 2, but inches ahead down the back straightaway. Not very much drafting help in the middle line, however. Looks like Mears is going to have the advantage with the push coming from the 99 of Ben Rhodes. Down on the inside, here comes the 12 truck of Christian Eckes back up to the tailgate of the 32, trying to shove Gus Dean out front. But into the tri-oval, they're still running side by side. That 60 truck going to get the advantage with the push coming from the 99. Ben Rhodes is a very good pusher for being one lap down. But once again, Gus Dean with some momentum coming from the 52 truck, but now Friesen going 3 wide for the race lead. Down the back straightaway, Friesen has the number 51 truck in line as a pusher. 2 Toyotas down on the bottom. But look at this run by the 60 truck down the back straightaway. The top 3 trucks have cleared the field, with your race leader still being Casey Mears above the lap truck of Ben Rhodes and the 26 of Chase Purdy, who has taken up second. A very fast lead truck in Casey Mears, as now here comes the 26 down to the inside. Germain Racing have not slacked on their Superspeedway program whatsoever, as look at this gap that the 60 truck is putting on the field. 26 truck moves down to the inside line. That's going to open up the opportunity for Dawson Cram to shoot around on the outside, as Cram now takes up second, using momentum off the top. Cram now to the inside, trying to get around the lap truck of Ben Rhodes to have a shot at that 60 truck of Mears, as Brett Moffitt, out of absolutely nowhere, back up into the top 5, pushing Dawson Cram down on the inside. Talk about having to fight through adversity. Moffitt has done it in every which way all day, having to fight back from a crash at the end of stage number 1. Even lost the draft at a certain point, but now 3 wide for the top spot. Derek Kraus all the way down on the bottom. And Kraus takes up the top spot on the exit of turn number 2, slides up in front of the 60 truck of Casey Mears. Into turn number 3. Derek Kraus is still your race leader, the 26 truck all the way down on the bottom. 98 truck as well on the inside line. And through the tri-oval, Mears getting a lot of momentum. Once again, shoots down to the inside using the slingshot. Through 1 and 2, a 4-wide move down on the inside line by Johnny Sauter to take up third, side by side for the top spot onto the back straightaway between the 19 and 60 trucks. And it looks like it's going to be Derek Kraus to clear the field once again, with momentum coming from the 99 of Ben Rhodes. Look at Poole going 4 wide down on the inside, as well as Rabaugh all the way on the bottom, going 3 wide for the top spot now, as now a 4-wide move by Rabaugh. Not the first time he's done that today. Derek Kraus, still your race leader, and I'm sure he's loving what he's seeing behind him. This gigantic hornet's nest, and he's not a part of it, because they're just slowing each other down. But now, here comes the 60 truck to the inside of the 19 once again. Down the back straightaway, Casey Mears trying to find a drafting partner to try and push his way around the number 19 truck. 2 Wisconsin natives up on the outside line of Kraus and Sauter, working together with Brendan Poole in line behind. Casey Mears and Christian Eckes trying to work together in the middle lane. But it looks like Derek Kraus is going to be pushed out front by the 13 truck. At the stripe, it is Kraus to lead lap number 79. Oh, and here comes Sauter down to the inside. Side by side through 1 and 2. Drew Dollar making a 4-wide pass down on the bottom. Sauter going to try and cut up to the outside, but couldn't quite make it happen. Side by side now between Kraus and Sauter for the top spot. Sauter getting just a little bit of a push from the 33 truck of Ryan Truex. Drew Dollar still trying to make it 4 wide all the way on the bottom. Sauter trying to cut up in front of Kraus, but still Kraus not cutting him any breaks up on the outside line. And now Sauter gets up to the outside. Ryan Truex trying to make the move down on the bottom, and here comes Mears, 3 wide. Casey Mears back out front in the number 60 truck. It has almost no drafting help. It cuts up in front of the number 33 truck very aggressively to try and get a drafting partner. And fortunately for him, it worked out because that could have very quickly turned ugly. Side by side is now Austin Wayne self going 4 wide on the bottom around mid-pack. Mears and Sauter still going for the race lead through the tri-oval, as Christian Eckes jumps all the way down to the inside with almost no drafting help. At the stripe, it is Sauter to lead the lap. Here comes Mears down on the inside, with some drafting help this time around coming from Ryan Truex. Down the back straightaway, that number 13 truck is going to get hooked up with the 19 of Derek Kraus. Sauter inching ahead once again. Mears, Truex, and Rabaugh working together in the middle lane to try and push their way around the 13 truck of Sauter, but it looks like Sauter's going to get the advantage through the tri-oval. Johnny Sauter leads at the start-finish line. 19 truck of Derek Kraus in second. And that number 33 truck tried just barely taking a look to the inside of Mears, but decided to stay back in line. Number 19 pushing that 13 truck very far out front, as here comes the 33 of Ryan Truex, separating from the 60 truck. Side by side with Johnny Sauter for the top spot. Now Truex getting some drafting help from the 18 truck of Ty Gibbs. Kraus and Sauter working together up on the outside line. At the stripe, the 33 truck getting a push, but it is still Sauter to lead the lap. Here comes Ty Gibbs, all the way down on the very inside line, getting some help from Zane Smith. Lap traffic up in front of the race leaders. Once again, it is the 75, 2, 17, and 53 trucks in front of Johnny Sauter. Those 4 will certainly be a factor late in the going. That number 13 truck is very strong to be able to stay out front this consistently like this, as that 21 truck of Zane Smith starting to drop back on the very inside line. Here comes the 19 truck of Kraus on the inside. Just 10 laps to go here at Talladega. Here comes the 19, 3 wide with lap traffic, as now the 19 and 13 trucks all get blocked in line. 32 truck of Gus Dean trying to figure out his way around. Looks like every single lane is being stopped by one of the lap trucks. Outside line is moving the quickest. Number 13 of Johnny Sauter up on the top. 32 of Gus Dean on the bottom. Onto the front straightaway. Here comes Dean with probably the biggest run of them all, getting a push from the 11 truck of Spencer Davis. At the stripe, it is Gus Dean to lead the lap. On the inside, here comes the 11 truck of Spencer Davis. Davis now out front at Talladega in the closing laps above the 22 of Austin Wayne Self, and here comes the 52 of Stuart Friesen into the picture, as well as Timothy Peters. And Brett Moffitt back up into the mix for the race win. Moffitt going through the middle and up into the top 5. The entire top 7 or so has flip-flopped because of those lap trucks. And look at the 87 truck of Peters getting put through the middle, quickly dropping back. At the stripe, it is the 11 truck of Spencer Davis to lead the lap above the 22 and 52 trucks. Here comes Austin Wayne Self down on the bottom. Brett Moffitt going 3 wide as well, trying to take up the 3rd spot. Lap traffic, as you saw, up in front of the leaders once again. It is Hocevar and Brett Holmes. Here comes Spencer Davis, side by side with the 22 truck down the backstretch. 4 wide move being made by Ty Gibbs as Stuart Friesen jumps up to the outside line, making that a 3 wide move now. Gibbs side by side with the 11 truck of Davis. 3 wide through the tri-oval. Gibbs with a huge head of steam, taking the race lead at the stripe. Entering turn number 1. Oh, there's contact. Several trucks up into the outside wall. A late race big one. We got a truck upside down. It's the 87 of Timothy Peters sliding on his roof. And he gets impacted by the 21 truck of Zane Smith barrel rolling in the infield grass. Caution flag is out. Racing back to the stripe, we have the 18 truck of Ty Gibbs out front. A battle for second between Spencer Davis and the 26 truck of Chase Purdy. Down to the line, side by side. It looks like it's going to be Purdy to hold second. And this race has completely flip-flopped from what it was only just 10 laps ago, with a huge mess erupting entering turn 1. Ty Gibbs is your race leader above Chase Purdy, Spencer Davis, Ty Dillon, and Johnny Sauter. To me, it just looks like the number 9 truck got just a little bit too aggressive on this side draft of the 32 truck of Gus Dean. Makes contact with Dean. Sends the 32 down to the 45. 45 up into the 22 truck. And now the whole field is more or less just blocked. Johnny Sauter does a great job at missing the wreck for the most part. Number 98 and 41 trucks both involved in this crash. First and second in points entering today's event. There's the 60 truck making hard contact. And then the 87 of Peters turning over in this accident, getting impacted quite a few times upside down. As there you see the entire field more or less sliding off the banking. 17 truck makes contact with the 53. Not too many hard hits in this accident, but quite a few near misses. There you see the 45 truck gets up on its side and rolls over as well. Brett Moffitt has experienced more or less every kind of high and low in today's race and has finally been knocked out of it. And here's exactly what happened to the 87. He gets turned around when he makes contact with Casey Mears. The difference between the banking and the apron actually ends up upsetting the truck to where it rolls over. And then slides on the apron upside down. 17 truck gets involved in this mess. Then here comes the 21 truck of Zane Smith, makes contact with the 87, gets into the grass, digs in, and flips a couple of extra times, and Peters sets on his roof on the exit of turn number 2. And the full list of trucks knocked out of the race after that accident is Brett Moffitt, Gray Galding, Grant Enfinger, Timothy Peters, Drew Dollar, Gus Dean, and Zane Smith were all knocked out of the race in that one accident entering turn 1. And now the pace truck pulls onto pit road. Ty Gibbs leading the field into a single file restart with just 2 laps to go in the GEICO 250 from Talladega. Green flag. 26 truck of Chase Purdy gets a very respectable jump on the 18 truck entering turn number 1. But here comes the 31 of Ty Dillon trying to make up some spots all the way down on the inside. And that crash really narrowed down the field to just some of the fastest trucks here. As you can tell, there's only about 7 quick trucks in this front draft. As the rest of the field is starting to drop back, that's due to the extensive crash damage that was received in that most recent caution on several of these lead lap trucks. As here comes Spencer Davis side by side with Chase Purdy through 3 and 4. And now into the tri-oval. That 18 truck of Ty Gibbs holds a controlling lead above the second place runner Chase Purdy. White flag is in the air at Talladega Superspeedway. It's not looking like really anyone can make a run on that 18 truck without getting at least far more organized, as there's a battle for second, which is slowing these two down. Purdy and Davis going after each other for the second spot, opening that gap up for the 18 truck. Purdy gaining a bit of a run from the number 31 truck of Ty Dillon, but here comes Dillon to the inside. That's exactly what Ty Gibbs wanted to see, as these two were catching up on the 18 truck, but now they're going to be slowing each other down, and that opens the door wide open for Ty Gibbs through the tri-oval in the number 18 truck for Kyle Busch Motorsports. Ty Gibbs wins his first career Camping World Truck Series race in the GEICO 250. Ty Gibbs has won at the Talladega Superspeedway in the 18 truck for Kyle Busch Motorsports, the first win of the season for that organization. Really no challengers there at the end of the race, as the battle for second was a little bit too intense to try and build a run on the 18 truck of Gibbs. But a great job holding off the field en route to his first career win. Ty Gibbs wins his first career NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race in a very close 2-lap dash to the finish above Chase Purdy, who scores a best career finish of second. Once again, another close result for Ty Dillon without a win, with Dillon bringing the 31 truck home in third, Spencer Davis in fourth, Austin Wayne Self in fifth, Johnny Sauter in sixth, which is a rather good rebound, even knowing that he had enough pace to win the race. Still, after the way his season's gone, you can't be too upset about a sixth-place finish. Then Derek Kraus in seventh, the other Wisconsin native. Then Christian Eckes in eighth, Dawson Cram in ninth, who has taken the point lead with his ninth-place finish. An incredible season so far for the 41 team, and Corey Roper rounding out your top 10 in the number 04 truck. And after the GEICO 250 from Talladega, Dawson Cram has moved into the regular season point lead by 1 marker above the winner here at Talladega, Ty Gibbs. Grant Enfinger drops down 2 spots in points to third from the point lead to third spot in points, only 9 points out of the lead though. Ryan Truex drops down 1 more spot in points, 18 points out of the lead. Ty Dillon moves up 7 spots in points, 19 out. Casey Mears drops down 1 spot, 21 points out. Christian Eckes moves up 6, 25 out. Kligerman drops down 2, 27 out. Austin Theriault moves up 5, 31 out. And Sheldon Creed, your defending champion, stays in 10th, 33 points out of the point lead. And now Dawson Cram being your point leader and without having a win on the season, he currently holds an automatic playoff berth if he can stay at the very top of the heap in the point standings. Ty Gibbs, Ryan Truex, Casey Mears, Christian Eckes, and Matt Crafton are all locked into the postseason with their wins if they can stay in the top 30 in points. Then the best of the rest, Grant Enfinger, 39 points above the cutoff line, then Ty Dillon, 29 above, Kligerman, 21, Theriault, 17, Creed, 15, Rhodes, 14, Peters, 11, Majeski, 4, Tanner Gray, 2, and then Carson Hocevar and Austin Wayne Self are tied for the cutoff line. Hocevar getting the tiebreaker as the last truck making the playoffs at the moment. Austin Wayne Self is the first truck out. Chandler Smith is 8 points out. Brett Moffitt is 9 points out. And Spencer Davis is 13 points out. And also, just a quick note, John Hunter Nemechek, after qualifying for 5 out of the 6 races this season, sets 35th in points. After yet another bad finish, he drops down 3 additional spots in points, down to 35th. at the conclusion of the race at Talladega. So that team really needs to figure out what they're doing wrong, as they are the worst team in points after starting 5 or more races. There are teams that have only started 3 races in points setting above them. So they really need to get that figured out for the number 4 team. And so from all of us here at the Speed Station, we hope that you've enjoyed our telecast of the GEICO 250 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race. The next time you'll be seeing us will be for the GEICO 500, the second of the Drive for 5 races in the NASCAR Cup Series, where if you win 3 out of the 5, you get a $1 million bonus at the conclusion of the Darlington Southern 500. And so we congratulate Ty Gibbs and company on their first win in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series at Talladega Superspeedway.